At least 800 civilians have been killed in the struggle for power in the Ivory Coast, according to the Red Cross, in just one town, while another charity said the death toll could be even higher. Some 500,000 refugees are said to be heading towards neighbouring Liberia. Britain says it is providing emergency help. Forces loyal to Alassane Ouattara, who won November's election, took the capital earlier this week. Red Cross delegates said they discovered a huge amount of bodies in the town of Dweku, while fighting intensified in the largest city, Abidjan, home of the incumbent president, Laurent Gbagbo. Victoria MacDonald reports.
The fighting has been prolonged and intense across Abidjan today. Forces loyal to the presidential rivals Laurent Gbagbo and Alassane Ouattara now pushing for control of the Ivory Coast's largest city. But for the moment, it appears to be Gbagbo, the man who lost last November's election, who is winning, his so-called young patriots at the checkpoints. Gbagbo himself invited a camera into the presidential palace, where he was shown with his daughter and entourage. He even managed to joke about a payslip before going back inside. Earlier in the day, his forces had won the battle for control of state television RTI. Pictures with a 9 a.m. today strapline showed soldiers loyal to him walking in front of the camera, saying, "We're here for the president."
We've been fighting since the day before yesterday. They tried to take everything that's here. But as we're the Ivorian military, we kept Ivorian television.
And this is what they wanted it for, a state broadcast of sorts by a Gbagbo spokesman.
The position of the state security forces of Ivory Coast is that we are being attacked by opportunistic forces, including the United Nations, French forces and rebels. Moreover, the actions of these forces include assassinations, killings and theft. And unfortunately, the victims have been innocent populations.
And that at least is true. This is a bloody power struggle between the two men that is now raging out of control. Ouattara, who appeared on a rival television station on Wednesday, has been internationally recognized as winner of the presidential election. And his swift push south to Abidjan had at first met with little resistance. But today, two aid charities claimed that between 800 and 1,000 people had been killed in the town of Dweku in the past week alone. Few pictures have yet emerged, but the scale of it was described as brutal and shocking. This was a town captured by Ouattara's forces several days ago, although the charities were careful not to attribute blame to either side. More than 1 million people are now said to have been displaced, tens of thousands pouring across the border with Liberia. Save the Children told Channel 4 News this afternoon that this was now a humanitarian emergency.
Since the 24th of February, when fighting really started, we have seen peaks where there's many thousands of refugees cross the border in short periods, and increasingly these are very frightened people. This is a crisis, and there's no doubt in the Ivory Coast, everything we hear from our teams there and from what we see here, this is a major and growing crisis in the Ivory Coast.
And tonight the British government announced emergency aid to help with the refugees. But there are fears the fighting is set to worsen over the coming days, with neither man prepared to give up their claim to power.